Today we are going to create the background for our breakfast skillet collage. Now to start with, we're going to get a piece of black paper. This is to make our cast iron skillet. I'm going to use a circle template to trace a nice symmetrical circle. Notice that I put it off to the edge of the black paper. That's so that I have room to make a handle on this other side. My handle, I'm going to just do my best to make it about as long as the piece of paper and it's about as straight as I can. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just kind of sketching it in, erasing if I need to. And when I have the shape that I like, I'm going to cut these pieces out. Now that my pieces are cut out, I'm going to use a white quick stick to sort of add a little bit of detail to my skillet. I'm going to start by lightly kind of sketching in a slightly smaller circle. This is going to kind of be the bottom of the pan. I'm not pushing hard. I don't want this white to be too strong. Okay. And if you want to, sometimes skillets can be like a little rusty and old, a little bit looking a little rugged from going on so many camping trips. So sometimes I add maybe just a little texture in there or around the sides. Same thing with the handle. I want it to look a little rough, a little well used, just like so. After I'm done adding all of my white line details, I'm going to put just a little tiny bit of glue on the handle and then stick it on. All right, now the next step is we are going to choose a background paper for our tablecloth. I'm going to set this off to the side so that it can dry. Now, when you do your tablecloth, I want you to think hard about the kind of design that you're going to do. You could do stripes, you could do a floral design, you could do pattern shapes, you could do anything you want. Just make sure that whatever pattern you choose, you're repeating those same shapes all over the whole entire piece of paper. Okay, so I chose to create some straight lines that crisscross to create kind of a plaid pattern, but there are lots of other different things you could do too. You could create different kinds of lines. You could repeat different kinds of shapes. You could even combine lines and shapes together. But whatever you decide to do, make sure that you extend your pattern off the edges of the paper so that it looks like real fabric. So like some of my flowers are kind of going off the edge there. I made sure that some of my triangles are kind of going off the edge so that it really looks like real fabric. When you're done with the quick sticks, it's time to glue some of our pieces together. You will have a small little piece of newspaper that you can use underneath your skillet. So I always like to kind of arrange the things first so that I make sure it looks how I want it to look before I start gluing. So I kind of wanted to get the handle onto the placemat a little bit so that it's not hanging off and likely to rip. I want to be able to secure most of the pan onto my big placemat. It's hanging off a little bit, but that's okay. Most of it is on the placemat. Now, once I've laid it out how I like it, I'm just going to very carefully lift up the corners. I don't even have to pick it up all the way off the paper. I'm just going to lift these corners and kind of start gluing things down. That way, all of my pieces stay exactly where I plan to put them. After we're done gluing our pieces down, we can leave it to dry.